Those look really good. All right, so we're in Colorado. We're out visiting Peter and Jess and Jude, Ashley, and Erebus. Here's my question. What would you say are your favorite and least favorite things that have happened so far this trip? First, let's start with favorite.
Favorite thing that's happened so far might be going to the Air Force Academy. That's pretty sweet. It was more than I had expected from the Air Force Academy.
You've never been there before?
Never been there before. The chapel's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All the models are pretty sweet. The statues.
Right.
Not to mention that it was a beautiful day, so that helped out. And then we'll take some sweet pictures.
Is that where you got that shirt?
Yep.
I didn't know you got a shirt. I saw that hat.
Yeah, I got a hat and a shirt.
What's that?
Representing the AFA. That a good angle?
Yeah. So, Nate, we're going to play a little word association here.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, when I say a word, you say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay. How street makes things up.
Okay, so when I say Air Force, what comes to mind?
Awesome.
Awesome. When I say Colorado, what's the first word that comes to mind?
Awesome.
What about Crum?
Yeah, okay. Sweet.
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 What about being in the Air Force and claiming you're from California?
Claiming I'm from California is, I don't know, it's like claiming that you're from the coolest place in the world, pretty much. So,
What about the fact that you have a bulldog tattoo?
that's just a representation for respect for my dad. Representation for the respect.
So then are you going to get a tattoo with a falcon?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I might.
So we could both kind of be sitting. It's recording right now, but it doesn't need to be like. What's up?
I don't know what we're supposed to talk about. What do we talk about? Mountain climbing, backpacking?
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about movies. I hardly ever talk to you, but that's what Crum's always talk about is movies.
Well, I was just talking to Peter whenever this called a couple minutes ago, and I told him I watched it twice, and he said to me that that's the kind of movie that the first time you watch it, you can't really enjoy it as much as you really can, and so that's why he told me I probably enjoyed it so much the second time. It's because the first time you're looking for stuff, you're looking for hints or whatever, but then you've seen that stuff the first time, so the second time you can watch it, really laugh at the stuff, you know what's going to happen, so you can kind of look at like the little details or whatever,
Right.
and that's what I told him is exactly right, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Movies.
Woo! Well, guess we're done with
Interview over. That's good. So, what makes you cry, Thomas?
Well, I mean, I can't quote an exact scripture off the top of my head, but the idea that the body of Christ is a family, and do you not have people in your church that you dislike or don't get along with, you don't share the same views, and are they still your brothers in Christ? And are you called to serve them as you would serve anybody? I mean, and so, we take the Baileys, who it's very easy to care for them as part of the family of God, and then you take somebody like, well, I'm not going to name any names, but some families that I know that are very difficult to serve and love, and you're called to love them as much as the Baileys, and because it's harder, you have to put more effort into loving them than you have to do the Baileys. But basically, I think Michael's perspective is his heart, what he's feeling at the moment, like sort of a be true to yourself kind of thing. And I think that's interesting because what I mean by that is he trusts his heart completely. And so if his heart is telling him that Tom Hagen is his brother, and that he's to love him like a brother, he's going to love him like a brother. And so I see, sometimes he gets brushed aside, but he is a brother to Michael, even more than Fredo is.
What do you think about this? Like me, I have terrible memory, but I can watch a TMIG movie, and it's like there's a piece of history that's embedded in my brain because I watched a movie, and it's like that. Is that what you're trying to do? Because it's like that memory will always be with me. You can't ever take that away because you can remember a movie so well.
Right, and also the idea that lots of memories that we have are specific to us. Like, I mean, even talking to Ben today, he remembered going to an IU basketball game with me, and then, like, we both didn't want to be there, so we just left after a couple minutes. And then at one of the, like, practice gyms, I guess they had some sort of concrete incline that we were running up and seeing how far up we could run, and I must have been, 16 or 17, and that would have made him, around 13 or 14, and hold on a second.
Hey, get down right now.
Sorry.
Alright.
And the idea of video is, if it's something that happens between me and you, it will be something that we might remember, but other people around us, even if they saw it going on, it wouldn't be so clear, whereas a video can kind of take those moments, and it's personal for the person who it happened to, but it also is sharing with the people who weren't there, or it didn't matter to as much, or for whatever reason it didn't have the same impact. Plus, for the family who's not here right now, it's almost like, they get to go walking outside and see the airplane and see the Air Force Academy, and they get to sit on the front porch with us right now.
Right.
And I know it's not exactly the same thing, but it's it's like storytelling. It's recounting something that happened, and it should last forever.
Because if your hands are shaky at all, you should just use them. Like sports. That's what I use. My hands are terrible. You see, they used to put they have the hats right there. But I mean, like for you.
So this is the plane you work on?
Yeah.
Or a variation of it?
Yeah. So, like the external tank isn't that big. That on the end is the external tank. And then this right here, between the inboard pod and the fuselage, like that flat thing there, that's the weapons pylon.
That's where they can put the nuclear weapons?
Yeah,
Did you just say nuclear?
Nuclear.
Nuclear. And these like engine pods look a little different.
So when you're working, like you have to do an inspection, what do? You just like walk around
There's different things. We have to check everything, like gas, the oxygen, hydraulic fluid, all that stuff to make sure that there's enough so that when they fly again it's good. But then a big part of the inspection is walking around and looking for like loose rivets or screws that have fallen out in flight. You have to look in like the...
Are you a lot closer than like walking from here to there, or do you get up on a
Some stuff
lift?
You get up on a ladder and you get close, but the plane's obviously not this high off the ground. But yeah, you get as close as you can. You make sure that you can see.
Do you do an inside inspection, or do you just do like an outside inspection?
We do an outside, we do inside. You climb up in the engine inlets, so because you have to look at the blades, because if anything goes through a blade, and like if there's pieces of metal or like you can get rocks flown up in there or whatever from other jets taxiing.
Birds.
Or birds, yeah, there's lots of bird strikes. But anything like that that gets in the engine is possibly going to damage the engine, so you have to make sure that you do thorough inspections on all that.
What's your favorite part of the plane to inspect?
My favorite part, well, it all depends. If it's winter, it's upstairs inside because it's cold outside and it's not cold inside. But if it's during the summer, I usually like to, I don't know, I like looking at the landing gear, which you can't see right now. But,
I remember Peter used to take remote control vehicles and like take them apart and build stuff. I don't think he ever actually. He might have built some. He was telling me he built some like walkie-talkie transmitters like that could send video signal or something like that from upstairs to downstairs.
What?
I don't remember it. All I remember is he had like this thing in his closet where he had his stereo in the closet and he had like rigged up a telephone handset, so you like pick up the phone and you could listen to his music through the telephone or something. No practical use to it at all, but
one of those sounds weird. That's awesome.
and I also remember when we lived on Mare Island, he had his own room and he had this desk in his room, which he had probably until he moved out of the house. But he had like, the big drawer that some desks had. He had that, and it was like full of wires and electronics and little gadgets and little motors and stuff like that. We used to, whenever he was gone, we'd always I'd always sneak into his room and like we'll check out his gadget stuff that he had in there.
you can pick wherever you want.
Nate, do you have a
So you can switch who you ask each time. So you can ask her this time, or you can ask me.
Here, hide your cards. She's
What
going
is
to
this?
cheat.
Nate, do you have
Now we come to the payoff.
what do I do now? I'm
Now
out.
you just pick up another card.
Just one?
Yeah, just pick up one card. That time?
Then what do I do?
Yeah. Somebody.
Erebus, do you have this?
Go higher.
Yes.
Do you have one of those? No, that's upside down. You're good. What are you telling now if you don't have it? Oh. What are you telling Michael?
Oh, okay.
Oh, my turn. Is that fine? You want to do it upside down? You have a... Terrible. The only way that I can go again on a go face is if I actually pick up a 10. If I pick up something that matches another one of my cards.
But I don't know. It's like the first time I've ever seen Erebus, and I haven't seen Ashley since she was old enough to talk.
Is it like the first time you saw Erebus, or is it the first time?
It feels just like the first time I saw Erebus. Actually, it is the first time I ever saw Erebus. But Jude was the only person I'd ever met, and he was so shy when I met him that he, didn't want to do anything and didn't want to talk to us. Just wanted to hang around you. So it's the first time I really get to interact with my nephew and nieces. That's really cool.
So compare watching a video of the Colorado Crum family to actually spending a couple days with the Colorado Crum family. You gotta be quiet. Oh, your frog? I don't know where it's at. No, I'm holding the camera.
It is. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do that except for we watched that movie today about the kids in the backyard playing soccer. And the reason I wouldn't have been able to compare is because it's sort of like you have to have the experience with the kids before you see the movie to be able to truly compare them. Now every time I watch a movie with the kids in it, I'm going to wish that I could be doing that with them instead of be watching them doing it. Especially watching Jude play soccer, it's like, okay, why am I watching this? Why don't I just go outside and play soccer with Jude? And so, I guess that's the comparison that I would make now. In one way, it will remind me of the fun that I've had here now doing all of this stuff. In another sense,
it will make me wish I could do it again instead of just. Well, but that's the way with everything, you know?
Right.
For me, anyway.
And I wish that the sound had been better, that we could have heard what Mr. What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking. Otto.
Otto, yeah. I wish we could have understood what he was saying, but we know what he was saying. But I think Pulp Fiction is probably my favorite to watch.
That was my favorite to make, I think. And it was at a time too. I mean, it was one of those things where that's what I'd like to do if I make movies. Is, you know, I think the idea of making a movie about pop would definitely be a serious undertaking. And I obviously don't think of myself as like a maker of comedies.
Mm-hmm.
I make movies that I enjoy making. And so I can't imagine making a movie that I'm not having fun the whole time I'm making. Even if there's hard work. I mean, editing a movie for me is hard work. And to sit down and focus and put it together is hard work, but it's something that I wouldn't want anybody else to do for me.
Right.
And to watch the different takes, to watch things that even if I don't include them, it's so enjoyable to make something from scratch. So I mean, I think making Pulp Fiction for me, I mean, it was inspired. I think I saw, it must have been during the Academy Awards, they showed a clip with Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson sitting in the car talking about the Quarter Pounder with cheese. And so I'd seen that scene, and I had the soundtrack. I think I got the soundtrack from Hans Aldeman, and I copied it onto I think he had the CD, and I copied it on tape or something like that. And I listened, like, that whole couple of months I was listening to this Pulp Fiction soundtrack. I'm like, this, you can come up with music. I mean, you can come up with a mixtape and make a movie around your mixtape. And so that's what I did, is I came up with the songs first, and then I came up with this idea of, you know, basically based on the name. I mean, I came up with the name Pulp Fiction first, and I'm like, how do you make a story to surround this? And then I just asked the kids in the youth group to do it, and we got it to work. Yeah, put it down, please. Don't mess with it.
You know, that was one of the things I liked best, was just kicking a soccer ball with Jude.
I mean, I think almost everyone had fun doing that. And whether or not you kicked it too hard or
To the neighbor's yard.
kicked it over the house. Did you see that? I think it was someone kicked it at me kind of soft. I was playing goalie and I kind of just kicked it. Flew over the house. I think it was Peter threw it back. But it's really funny because he's been telling us to watch how hard I'm kicking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of one of those things where I didn't kick it hard. It just was coming at me a little harder. So it just a transferring of energies.
Chipped it up.
Exactly. I just thought that was very funny. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely fun playing with Jude. It was fun to see them.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the other thing, is that, you know, Jude and Ashley and Aravis, you know, we're their uncles. I just think that's, first of all, that's a weird thing. You know, like Uncle Scott, or, you know, Uncle Bob, or Uncle Bill. What do you even know about them? Like, I mean, you know, I think that they're all cool guys, and, you know, there are memories that I have of things that they did. I remember this one time Uncle John picked me and Matt up from the airport when we flew out to visit grandmother and grandfather, and drove back with his knees on the steering wheel, and we thought that was the coolest thing. We'd never seen anybody drive with their knees before. So, you know, there are things I remember of my uncles. So, like, now that's us. Like, that's us with Jude. So one day Jude is going to, you know, sit with one of his, you know, 9 brothers and or sisters, and you know, and be sitting and doing like an interview and be like, yeah, and I remember my Uncle Thomas, you know, kicking the soccer ball over the house or something. You know, it's like one of those weird things where, you know, sure, like we're brothers and we'll remember things, but it's just weird that like there's this next generation of kids that like now we're the uncles too. So that was kind of cool, is to be able to be, you know, sit down and read a story to Ashley, or play soccer with Jude, or make nervous, get in trouble, so she had to go to her room.
Bada bing.
Here's the thing.
You got those?
Yep.
Careful.
Thank you. I got it.
I mean, I don't know if those look good or not.
They look great.
You look great, Matt.
Thanks, John.
Superman was really your least favorite thing that you've done so far?
Well, I mean,
Look at that. That's amazing.
family things have been fun.
Right.
Garden of the Gods was fun. I realized how out of shape I was by going to the Garden of the Gods today. So here's enough hot dogs for John. So then we have 2 more packages for everybody else.
Last time I came, remember last time I came?
We were there for like 7 weeks altogether, and each week you had something different. Like the first week you wore tennis shoes. Like the second week you had a buzz cut, and like they did something every week so that they could like tell you apart. But those people, like, if you saw some guy walking around in tennis shoes and he was just like walking somewhere, and a TI could be all the way over here and see you, and he would like chase you down.
I don't ever remember you crying though. I just remember you laughing.
Well, I could flex my butt. Because she would say pants down, I'd pull on my pants and I'd flex. And she could tell when I was flexing too. That's just something about Nacho Libre, like that commercial, like he flexes his butt, and that's what I would do. I can't do it as much anymore, it's kind of flat. But she would say pants down, I'd flex, and she'd be like, unflex, and then she'd start walloping. So when I knew better than that, I'd run away until she's not in the head, come back, and she might still spank me, but if she did, I mean, it wasn't half as bad. And then, but yeah, I mean, I would laugh half the time. I'd kind of pull back laughter sometimes. Cause it's
I remember you'd like turn to her and be like, whew, that's smart. And she's like, stop that. And, you know,
that tickles. That's great.
Making like ideals. And so he's saying, this is what a family is. One of my favorite scenes is when he's sitting in the chair and his dad's alive, but he's been shot, and Sonny's still alive, but he's like leaning back and he's got his arms up, and you can tell he's the one in charge. And he's like, I'm gonna kill him.
Right.
And what he's doing is he's completely devoting himself, and I like the idea of completely devoting oneself, and he's completely devoting himself to the idea of the family.